Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for the week of June 2nd. This week, we're going to jump right in here. You have two cards of fate. You have this fate has blocked this path for you, and you also have this card that says forces beyond your control intervene, and it says the hand of fate. So, could be some fated stuff going down in your life. We'll have to see what comes up for you, Leo. But you start here with the Page of Swords, the Six of Wands, and the Lovers. This is coming up in your current general energies. So the Page of Swords is a card of curiosity. And I think the Page of Swords is like the card of asking why. It's like I think of the Page of Swords as a child. Children ask why a million times. So I think that it's a great card for asking questions in your life about like whatever you want. It's a good card for research and looking into things. The Page of Swords can also say someone has their eye on you. There is a little bit of love here, and you even have the Emperor. So, if you want love, you could be attracting like an Emperor and Empress. Take it how it resonates. But the Page of Swords is like why. I kind of feel in some ways that this is an energy that Leo needs to release, like as far as the past is concerned. Like if you're wondering why certain things in your life, I'm not even talking about love, I'm talking about, everything in your life. If you're asking like why this happened, why that happened, I think this is saying, it's saying, it did. So, it's time to move forward and stop looking back at the past. He is looking directly at these two cards. He is looking at and looking for answers. And, I kind of feel this is saying, we go down to the Judgment card, to the Emperor, which would really be about like really taking control of your life. And it's like, I think when we stop asking those questions, life gets a lot easier. And sometimes there is no answer as well to questions. It kind of reminds me of people that want closure from relationships. It's like, if someone leaves you and they don't really have a good reason, it's very hard to, like, I'm not gonna say that it's easy to move forward or anything like that, but it's like sometimes there just is no reason. And, that's like an uncomfortable truth of life. But it's like when we can just release that and let it go, I think life gets a lot easier. Like when we don't need closure on things, or we don't need to know why things happen, when we are more focused on what's going on right now, right? And so I feel this is encouraging you to focus on what you can change. The beautiful thing about this reading, Leo, is you have the Queen of Swords to the Wheel of Fortune. It's like she sees clearly for the first time how she can change her life, or how she can change her destiny or her fate. And I kind of feel that, again, the beautiful thing about this reading is I feel like that's what the reading is saying. It's like you're no longer asking those questions. You're just like focusing on what you can control. You have the Six of Wands. Six of Wands, of course, is a card of success, achievement, being celebrated. He's been through something difficult. The story of the card is that he's been to war, and now he's being celebrated coming back from war, but, he's been through a very challenging time. And so a lot of you could finally be being celebrated. I also kind of feel like there's something about credit for Leo. Correct me if I'm wrong, Leo, but I'm pretty sure I said this to you recently. I think this is something, I say I think because I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that I think a lot of Leos have been doing a lot of work that they like haven't been getting credit for, and for years maybe, right? And so I kind of feel like some of you are finally getting credit for things that you are doing. And it could start like this summer, right now, like June 2nd, that you start to get some accolades or some rewards or whatever you want to call it. You have the Lovers here. Definitely could be love for those of you that want it, because we have the Ace of Cups and the Emperor right here. So if you're looking for love, this would be like a new love offer that's coming in for you. I kind of feel it's like, I don't know what's going on here. You have the Judgment card in between that Wheel of Fortune. It's like, to me, this is a change thing. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. It's like you could be attracting a person like while you are going through some sort of change, or the person you're attracting is going through a big change with that Judgment card. And so, it's kind of like you're catching a speeding bullet, is what I feel. It's like there's something is going on. I wish I had better words, as always, Leo, right? But it's like I see this person's like all of a sudden, this is it could be you. So take it how it resonates. It's like all of a sudden someone's waking up and doing something with their life, and you could be catching a person who is kind of really taking off here and doing some things. So feels very like fast to me as well. So I don't know. Take it how it resonates. Let's see where this is going before I keep stuttering, right? Let's see. With the Page of Swords, you have the Hangman. I am a big fan of alternate perspectives for Leo. I think everything that you're doing, if you could just see it from the other side as well, and that things would go very, very well for you. And I would, it's kind of like Gemini energy. We're going to have Uranus going into Gemini soon enough. And what I would say about that is I think people who are able to kind of look at both sides of everything and just figure things out from there are going to have a really good time. I think people that say I need things to be like this when they're not are going to have a really hard time. So I would just be open to other perspectives on pretty much everything. With the Six of Wands, you have the Page of Swords. So you could be capturing someone's eye here. I mean, Six of Wands could say that you are having a success, and because of that, you're capturing someone's attention. This, like I said, Page of Swords can be someone who's got their eye on you, and so this could be because you're getting more attention or you're standing out in some way. This could also, again, be the other way around. Someone could be capturing your attention because they are standing out, and that's also a possibility with the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is also about having those victories. Like, I've said this to you before, basically, Leo. I haven't said these exact words, but I've said things that are similar. I think it's time for Leo to be a Leo. It's like time for you to get the attention, the accolades, the rewards, the kingdom, all those things. And the Page of Swords is about looking at how do you do that with the Six of Wands? And I don't know. You're all different, so you're going to have to figure it out. With the Lovers, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, it's really funny because I think a lot of people are in this place right now where it's like, I think maybe since like COVID, maybe like 2019 or something, it's like people have really wanted love. But then at the same time, I think people now are a little bit like, well, is it really worth it? Do I really want someone in my space? Do I really want someone to, have to entertain someone to be with them, and all these other questions. It's not really about answering the question either. It's about it's about just finding the right person where that doesn't bother you. Where it's like, instead of looking at it like, oh, I have to entertain this person. Maybe that's not a good example, but it's about like finding the person that you don't have to do those things for. It's like, I guess what I'm saying is that it's about like finding the person that really fits. And the Seven of Pentacles is my card that says, is the juice worth the squeeze? So it's like, you could be wondering, like, is it worth it to have love in my life? Is it really going to add something to my life or not? And I don't know, I can't answer that question either. You have to answer that question. Although I do think that some of you are going to want it, clearly, because we have this right here. And so, it's going to be up to you. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you can't make this up. It says new love. A new romantic relationship is unfolding that will be deeply meaningful to you. So there you go. Obviously, you'll probably want this if you don't already have it. You have this divine intelligence. It says to connect with your higher self, you must first create space to listen. A lot of people have been getting these cards of like higher self, tapping into your higher self, listening to your intuition, things like that. So, and you have the Judgment card. This is your higher self angel on the Judgment card. So, and also shows up on the Lovers, by the way, as well. So clearly, it's a time where we all should be tapping in a little bit extra and like listening, meditating, going for walks, whatever it is that you do. But definitely could be a new connection here with these cards. You have the Queen of Swords. I feel like you're finally seeing how things can change. I feel like you need to give things more time as well here, Leo, is what I would say. But like, this isn't a bad thing, but I almost feel that you are kind of like seeing the future in some way. Maybe not like literally seeing the future, but you could be catching trends or seeing a trend before it happens, like in work or business or love or career. And I feel this is saying, it's like you are kind of seeing the future. And so if you start like a trend right now and it doesn't take off right away, give it more time, because, I think you are right. And so like, don't give up now. And, keep pushing forward with this Queen of Swords. I also feel that you are seeing like the changes you need to make with that Wheel of Fortune so that you can like take control over your destiny, or, kind of like change your fates in a positive direction. So I really like to see that. You have the Judgment card. Judgment is a wake-up call. Judgment, these people are being called out of these coffins. The coffin represents their old life. Outside the coffin represents their new life. And they are being called to step into their new life. And we go up to the Wheel of Fortune. So I think it is time for you to change your fortune. It's time for you to change your destiny, or to step into your destiny. And even going this way, we go down to the Emperor. So this is about like really taking control and really making things happen. So I would be listening to your inner voice, or like whatever you're being pulled towards or called to. I think it would be a good time for you to make those moves and make things happen with that card. You have the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups could be a love offer coming in for some of you. The Ace of Cups is usually a really good love offer. So, one where your emotions are overflowing. So if you want a connection, could be a very strong connection. This could also just be something that creates more flow. I do feel that Leo should be focusing on flow, because I'm pretty sure it comes up in like all your readings, that if you could just do more things that brought more flow into your life would be so much better. That could include like hobbies, ideas, fun things that you think you might enjoy doing, and, just having more fun in life in general. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Eight of Cups. Yeah, I think this is very good, because I think you are walking away from things that no longer serve you. The Eight of Cups, he's walking away from things that are just aren't bringing fulfillment. I always say the Eight of Cups is scary because he is walking away from something. Those 8 cups do provide him with a result, but they just don't provide him with enough of a result to be anything. It's not really leading to success, those 8 cups. So he has to walk away, and he has to decide not to settle for less than he deserves. So, that's what I'll say there. With the Judgment card, you have the Seven of Wands. Yeah, Seven of Wands is a card of conviction. It says when you know that something is for you, it's for you. And this is a card of believing something so deeply that you make it happen. And so working on your beliefs, or making sure you're doing things that you believe in, is going to be important. As always with you, Leo, I think that you are ready. The Seven of Wands, so he has a shoe and a boot on here. The story of the card is that he had to rush out of his home to defend his position at the top of the hill, and he doesn't feel that he is ready to do this. But, the card says there will never be a perfect moment for you to do anything. And so I kind of, like I've said to you in a bunch of your past readings, I kind of feel it's time to stop waiting. With the Ace of Cups, you have the Hermit card. Yes, you could be attracting a hermit, or maybe you're the hermit, whatever, take it how it resonates. But, if you want love, obviously you're going to have to get attention. 6 of Wands showing up in this reading. And so I would, if you want love, I would get out there. Although I do think that that you could be attracting a little bit of a homebody here. We have the King of Cups coming up, going this way. The thing about the King of Cups is he's a homebody. I have certain clue cards in the tarot, and these clue cards I give certain terms to. So I call the King of Cups the card of the home, for that exact reason. And, you could be attracting someone who is like a little bit of a hermit, but that might not be a bad thing. That means they're not out here running around on these streets, like, looking for the next best thing, right? So, like I said, this doesn't have to be a bad thing. The other thing is that, the hermit has been through a difficult time. He's been through a dark night of the soul, and now he needs to shine his inner light. So to have more fun with that Ace of Cups, I would be shining your inner light. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this card that says, release the weight of judgment. Yes. You have this card that says, do what you need to do. It says, it may be difficult, but now is the time. There you go. The whole reading basically says that. I do think you have to let go of the fear of judgment. It's like, no matter what, you're going to have people that are going to have something to say about whatever it is that you do. And, you just have to ignore it. I said this to someone the other day about all this energy moving into Aries. I think the problem with Saturn in Aries and Neptune in Aries will be projection. So I think people will be projecting their BS onto us more. So if you're like doing anything or whatever, you might get some criticism, but your job is to ignore it with that card right there. So I would ignore pretty much what people are saying, right? You have the Wheel of Fortune, the King of Cups, and the Emperor. Very good. This would be a very solid change in your fortunes, or, a really nice improvement coming in for you. I feel like you're taking more control of the wheel, which is exactly what we have to do. We have to double down on the good stuff, take care of the bad stuff right away. As I always say with this card, that's how we live, getting the wheel to move forwards. We also have to work with our vibrations with this snake right here. The snakes are also guardians of portals, and snakes represent fear. We have 2 sevens right here. 2 sevens are internal fears that don't exist. So, everything you want is probably on the other side of some sort of fear. It might not be like a real fear. It might just be, you're just a little bit nervous to take action on something or do something. But if you do it, you will change your fortunes. You have the King of Cups. King of Cups is like your emotional connection, I think. In this reading, I think it's talking about your emotions. the whole point of the King of Cups is that he has very deep emotions, and he has explored those emotions to a very deep level. And because he knows how he feels about things, he can now take action, or he can make his move. But he has this boat here, and the boat on the King of Cups represents traveling into the unknown, doing things you've never done before. So I think for a lot of you, it's time for you to kind of like travel into the unknown, or step into something that you've never done before to improve your life. This could be in any area of your life. I think for most of you, it's in multiple areas of your life. This could be love, money, business, spirituality, pretty much everything, where you are kind of like moving differently. And I feel that would be very important. You have the Emperor. Definitely could be attracting like an Emperor or Empress type person, someone who's a divine counterpart. So if you're looking for love, this could be the type of person you're attracting. One thing that I will say here, Leo, is I think this person will maybe make you a little bit nervous, but it's like the way they live, is maybe what makes you nervous. It's, I don't really know how to describe what I feel, but it's like there are some people where it's like, I think to most people, they look lazy, but if you actually look at their results, they're extremely successful. It's like these people, Emperor type people, are like the sit and wait predators of the world. They are the people who wait for opportunities to come to them. And with the King of Cups, being a water sign, water signs can be very passive. They can just wait for opportunities to come to them. But if this is a person who works with golden opportunities, it doesn't really matter. I think the results will speak for themselves. But it's like this person is popping into my head as like a person who does not live by society's rules. This person, it might be, they kind of live by their own rules, but I also think they have the results. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Justice card. A lot of justice energy coming up in these readings. I think it's probably because we had Saturn, Neptune, and Aries now. And, obviously Libra is the opposite sign of Aries. So we have to practice balance. We have to practice justice. We have to practice looking at both sides of everything, right? And if we do that, we will be fine. So justice is about doing things in balance. With the King of Cups, you have the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, I think, I said I was feeling something here about, like, this person or a person. It's like, you could be, maybe both of you. Sometimes I look at this card and I think that both people have been left out in the cold. So you could be attracting a person who's been through something similar to you. Like, maybe they were left out in the cold, maybe they were cheated on, or whatever. Whatever happened to you. And you could be attracting someone who's been through something very similar. The only problem I see here is the Eight of Swords. It is coming up in the good stuff. So, it kind of would say that this person will set themselves free. But obviously, I tell people, don't wait for anyone. There are, 9 billion people on this planet or whatever. To use the cliche, there are plenty of fish in the sea. There's no reason to wait. And so if this person isn't ready, then tell them to call you when they're ready. But, like I said, I don't think it's that big of a deal. With the Emperor, you have the Five of Wands. Yes, during Saturn and Aries, having more competition will be a good thing. So it's like, if you have more people coming at you, like, I'm not talking about in like an aggressive way or anything like that, but, in work or business or career, this will actually be a good thing because it will be the clue that you are actually doing something important. So, again, during Saturn and Aries, basically the next 3 years, the more, I wouldn't say haters, but, the more people that you have that could be kind of like following you or copying you and all those other things, that would be a good thing because it would say you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Next, you can't make this up. In the area of the good stuff, you have this card that says embrace uncertainty. The whole entire reading says that. Eight of Cups, Judgment, even the King of Cups with that boat in the background, definitely, and the Wheel of Fortune. Everything about this reading says you need to step into the unknown. You have this cut your losses card. Yeah, some of you could be cutting your losses on something. I do think Leos have to be careful of their attachments, like things that you're attached to or things that you've developed an emotional attachment to. This could be like work or business-wise or, in your career. And, being willing to like step away from things that aren't working. Eight of Cups is going to be important. You have the Eight of Swords, the Page of Pentacles, and the Seven of Wands. Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction, but it's coming up in the good stuff. So I think that if this is you, you will be setting yourself free. Like I said, with Uranus and Gemini, even though it's not there yet, it will be soon enough. And with Uranus and Gemini, I think people who are willing to innovate and kind of like look at both sides of something will be very beneficial. And the best example I can give you is like AI. It's like, I think the people who are going to be successful over the next many years are going to be people who use both, like AI, but also their brain. The problem with AI is that it's going to make people stupid because they're just going to use AI and they're not going to work their brain, right? So, but if you use both things together, then you will be smart. And, that's kind of what I'm getting here is that, you need to like use both things, two things at once. It doesn't have to be an AI. I'm just giving you an example. You have the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles could be like good news. Sometimes I just feel the Page of Pentacles is good news for you or for whoever I'm reading for. So you could be getting some good news. Could also be communication. So I think this has been coming up for you for a while, Leo, that you could be meeting a person where it like starts as communication and then kind of goes from there. So if you want love, definitely could be just a communication thing. Page of Pentacles is also an amazing card for learning. So I think it would be a great time to learn how to do something that you want to do. You have the Seven of Wands again. So I think committing to something that you want to create, it would be a good idea. But also developing that, like, know that something is going to work. Like developing that belief inside of yourself, brainwashing yourself into knowing that something can work. Could be very good with the Seven of Wands. I mean, I'm a big fan of brainwashing myself into believing things, so, I think that's a good thing to do. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Hierophant here. Hierophant can represent blessings. Now, the funny thing about the Hierophant is that he can represent inside the box thinking, and the Eight of Swords is kind of similar because she's only thinking one thing. The Hierophant is teaching these two people his belief system, but it's only one belief system. So like I said, being open to all belief systems and exploring everything. It doesn't mean you have to believe anything. It just means that you understand it. And, I think understanding the ins and outs of everything is going to be very powerful for you. And it's coming up in the good stuff. So, I would say this would be a good thing. With the Page of Pentacles, you show up here as a strength card. Whenever you show up as yourself, it puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading. So this could be very good. This could be you just showing up in a strong position here, which would be great. This could also say that you have been strong. And like I said, I kind of get this feeling that some of you are finally getting credit for things that you've done that like maybe you haven't been getting credit for. So you could finally be getting, being seen in the world. She is being seen because she has her hands in that lion's mouth. And like, who in their right mind would stick their hands in a lion's mouth? The answer is nobody. So a lot of you could finally be getting attention. With the Seven of Wands, you have the High Priestess. There we go. So we have the Hierophant and the High Priestess. These two are divine counterparts. I look at them as better divine counterparts than the Emperor and the Empress because it's like a more spiritual connection. And I feel that you could be attracting a very spiritual connection. You have this Fly card. It says a period of ill health and depression. I think you're coming off of this. I think things are improving for you, Leo, just in general, which is good. But the other thing I would say is I would definitely watch your health. I mean, we had that eclipse in Virgo, and I would just keep an eye on your health, plain and simple. You have this Fan card. It says romance, celebration, party. Yes, romance could really improve your life. I mean, we go from the Lovers to Judgment to the Wheel of Fortune. And so if you attract the right person, your life will improve. And I think a lot of you could be attracting a new person, obviously, or you already have your eye on a person, they already have their eye on you, or you're both spying on each other, who the hell knows. But whatever's going on here, I would say that it could be a good thing. You have this beetle. It says good fortune. Yes, we see a lot of good fortune in this reading. I feel very good about the Queen of Swords to the Wheel of Fortune. For whatever reason, I just feel that is a good combination in your reading. I feel like you are seeing how to take control of your destiny. It's like you're living your destiny. I like to say that the Wheel of Fortune is your destiny, how you see it. It is your personal vision for your life. And I think that is the difference with the Wheel of Fortune. It's not necessarily what the universe wants for you, but it's like what you want for you. And a lot of you are changing your fortunes in that sense. You have this wall card that says misunderstandings. Yeah, this has come up for a couple other people. I do, in a lot of people, and especially you, whenever I use that animal deck, right, one of them, this one right here, whatever this one is, the Colette Baron Reed one, you always get that parrot card that says, watch your words. And so I would be very clear with your communications, and I wouldn't allow there to be any wiggle room. I feel this is very important at this time, just in general. Like, if we feel something, we should just say it. Same thing in love. It's like, like in love, we all do it, right? We hold back, we don't say things, we don't speak up. But, I would speak up in all areas of your life and be very clear. You have this throne card. It says position of authority, emperor, even the Hierophant. The Hierophant says you could be becoming a teacher, Leo, which I feel like I've said to you a million times in the past. So, a lot of you could be stepping up into these leadership roles or leadership positions. I'm also hearing like problems, but like in a good way. Like you could be being a leader by being able to solve people's problems. And if you can solve people's problems, you can make a lot of money. So, this could also be financial. But this looks pretty good, Leo. I like it. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your week.